Welcome, Pokeloggers, to the Pokelogue. For our second Battle Series episode today, we have on screen a team that I used to use pre-DLC, actually. It used to be pretty... it used to catch a lot of people off guard. The main composition of this team is the Conkeldurr with the Weakness Policy, which is a set that I've never ever run into. Let me know down in the comments if you ever have. The main props for this are the Sylveon with Quick Attack, or the Oranguru, which is a little bit more of a niche sort of setup, where it uses stored power against the Conkeldurr as it outspeeds it, allowing the Weakness Policy to prop, and actually Symbiosis, which is Oranguru's special ability, if you like, because it's a unique ability, passes the life orb over to Conkeldurr, allowing it to become even more powerful. And then obviously, typically, if we can, we want to get a max knuckle off with Conkeldurr that first turn. The damage output is just ridiculous if given the opportunity to start snowballing. The Sylveon is a nice tech with the Conkeldurr simply for quick attack, as you can, you have priority, so you don't actually have to go for it first turn if you don't want to, things like that. The Conkeldurr and the Sylveon are built very defensively. The reason being is because Conkeldurr has access to Drain Punch, which is max knuckle, and it also has access to Poison Jab, which becomes max ooze. So the reason behind it is Sylveon could protect, for example, the following turn after using quick attack, and Conkeldurr could get off a max ooze, allowing Sylveon to boost its special attack, even while behind a protect. There's a lot of sort of synergy around those three, which are the main core of the team, providing I can bring them if there's no real threats in the form of maybe like heavy offense with flying types, or steel and poison types, or even fairy types as well. So in the latter three of the team, we have a Chandelure and an Excadrill, which sit at a mid-speed range, of quite an odd speed range for an Excadrill actually. It doesn't have any speed investment, so it sits at a speed of 108, I believe. Reason being is before this episode, I actually had Whimsicott instead of Rillaboom on my team. So the idea is that at 107 speed, you can actually outspeed a Dragapult once Tailwind goes up by 1 point, putting you at 214 speed, whereas Dragapult only has a speed of 213. Same for the Chandelure. The Chandelure sits at 107. And the Excadrill sits at 108, allowing us to outspeed Dragapults with Chandelure too, allowing us to get some big shadow balls off with Whimsicott. Unfortunately, there isn't room on this team for Whimsicott and Rillaboom, and I felt going into some casual battles, which is what we're going to be doing again today, so we can see how this team matches up against the ever-changing DLC meta. I thought Fake Out was a lot more viable, since there's a lot more counters to Whimsicott now. There's always a chance that we could opt Whimsicott back onto this team, as it does have great synergy with the latter two being Chandelure and Excadrill, as both are Chandelure is modest because it doesn't need that huge amount of speed investment, and Excadrill is adamant, as again, it doesn't need any speed investment, and it's all about getting as much attack EVs into it as possible. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so searching for our first opponent here. Hoping to really showcase the other side of this team as well, which is the underspeeding Excadrill, which I explained just in team preview, and the underspeeding Chandelure. I'm hoping they do work out pretty well against the side spam stuff too, as I haven't used this team in a very long time, probably a couple of months now. So I'm a little bit rusty with it compared to the new DLC stuff, which has seemed to have just taken over, which I do hope we see a lot of. Okay, right. Immediately, because I watched That's a +1, the Wheezing and the Dragapult are shouting some kind of weakness policy set with Brutal Swing. I really do feel like Rillaboom is a must because of the Moongus as well, and it could actually fake out the Grimmsnarl too. We don't know what type the Urshifu is, so I feel like Sylveon's a pretty solid bring because of that. We need Excadrill to deal with the Toxtricity, the Grimmsnarl, and the Wheezing. So maybe I'll bring Excadrill on the front. No, actually. It might not be that bad. Might be okay. Do I want to get Trick Room up this game? Not sure, because the Amoongus. We'll say no, just because the Amoongus could actually stop our whole team from actually getting anything off. Sylveon, and I'm going to say... We'll say Chandelier. Oranguru doesn't bring anything to this fight. Because it's solely a support Pokemon. So, a lot of the time with the new DLC ones, it seems to just all come down to the lead. If okay, not the lead I was expecting. I was expecting the Dragapult and Weezing lead. Again, that just depends what your opponent watches, if you like. I don't feel like that really cripples us too much. Sandrush isn't obviously going to activate because we don't have a Tyranitar or a Hippo down to switch in. Rillaboom doesn't really want to be getting off grassy terrain here. I suppose it would have been quite effective against against the Urshifu. However, there's nothing stopping us from going for a Fake Out onto the Weezing. Stop it from doing anything annoying. We could always switch. Our Excadrill will go down to its Sash, but I feel like that's a pretty fair trade. Faking out the Weezing and then using Iron Head. Yeah, they could switch here, but I feel like the Urshifu might Dynamax. Yeah. And it's probably going to go for a Rapid Strike style into Excadrill, which is actually fine because we have our Sash. Okay, I'm not sure if this picks up the one hit KO. I'd like to think it does though. G-Max Rapid Fire. Okay, brings us down to the Sash, brilliant. Hopefully this one hit KOs the Weezing, because next turn I'm thinking about Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing the the Rillaboom and going for Drum Beat Solo, something like that, and Grassy Surge activates since the Weezing is out of here. Okay. Not a terrible position. Excadrill's definitely done its job. Weezing can be a real problem to set up. Rillaboom does thrive way more, obviously, underneath grassy terrain. So it's nice to get that back up. I'd probably say the G-Max looks quite promising as of now. But obviously because we don't know what comes out next. Okay, Toxtricity. Toxtricity is faster than a... is it faster than Rillaboom? I don't think it is actually. I remember it looking like a very fast Pokemon, but yeah. So I feel like it's pretty. We need to go on the offense, I'd say. So as much as this isn't going to do as much damage in this terrain, I feel like getting some damage off on the Toxtricity is pretty decent here. If the Urshifu max guards. And if the Toxtricity goes for a Sludge Bomb onto Rillaboom, at least we pick up some damage onto the Toxtricity with Excadrill's Earthquake here. It's strange how far Pokemon's come with the new Gigantamax forms, from Mega Evolution being like the wackiest thing about. And does it max guard? Okay, it goes for max airstream. Okay, and that's obviously going into the Rillaboom slot that does so much damage. What is that even off? Is that off Bems? Okay, the Toxtricity might at speed here, and is it going to go for a Sludge Bomb? Oh, we're actually faster. Okay, that's great. That's a pretty cool animation. And we do pick up the one hit KO. Okay, that's fantastic. Regardless of what the Toxtricity goes for here, whether it goes into Excadrill or not, Wonder who's faster. Okay. That does pick up the KO on extra. That was definitely a better play. Than committing to Sludge Bomb or something. Quite a nice tech. Suppose it does a little bit more damage as well because of the... Is it Punk Rock? Its ability. Okay, so we've got rid of the Dynamax Mon. Rillaboom does actually have the tech of protecting. So it's up to the Toxtricity how it's going to get this little Among Us into a position to actually, get some spores off. I feel like it's pretty safe to max guard here, considering we're under. No, we've only used one turn of our Dynamax, so not even next turn we can't use Grassy Glide next turn. I feel like opting for a... I don't feel Snarl doesn't knock us out. I didn't see how much HP we were on, should have probably looked. Max Strike might not hurt to bring the Toxtricity back down, but I don't feel like it matters in terms of underspeeding or outspeeding or anything. I feel like a Max Darkness is probably quite optimal against the Toxtricity, and then straight up go for a Heat Wave. Reason being is because Rillaboom, if it doesn't get knocked out here, yep, brilliant, it goes first. It gets the special defense drop onto the Among Us, which is the main issue here. Hopefully it's not sashed, and then Chandelure can pick up a big Heat Wave onto them both. Overdrive, okay. That does knock out the Rillaboom, but Rillaboom's definitely done its work this game. It's absolutely fine. And then I'll be amazed if the Among Us outspeeds us here, considering it taps out at 90. Okay, we get a double connect, fantastic. And then does that seal up the game? It does, brilliant. Yeah, so that was a great showcase of how this team can, well, the flip side of this team can work. So we actually didn't bring Conk or Oranguru, which are the, alongside Sylveon, are the main three parts of this core. But you saw how well the four that we did bring, well, say the three, because we didn't even need Sylveon in the end, actually optimize against the new DLC mons in the form of Among Us. I don't feel like Among Us is a great late game Pokemon unless you're just planning on setting up Trick Room. I feel like it's a better lead. And also Urshifu, to me, is a better clearing up Pokemon. It's best to bring in the back. Since your opponent might be on the back foot at that point in the latter game, maybe trying to stall out some terrains or weathers and things like that, and Urshifu can break through those protects, which is a really nice niche. Okay, so we have quite a strange matchup here. Don't really know what my opponent's going to be going for here, which is the whole idea of a team preview. You really want to throw your opponent off. I'm going to say that Sylveon does quite a lot of work to three of their mons here. Unfortunately, Cinderace might be a bit of a problem. However, we could go for a max. You could just go for a max fighting. I hate Cinderace, honestly. Ugh. It's pretty broken in the sense of its coverage. If it didn't get so many coverage moves, or if Libero or however you pronounce it, only worked under certain conditions like Dynamax or something like that, or maybe every other turn it activated, I feel like it'd be a bit more balanced. It's very hard to take out when partnered up with something quite common like Whimsicott. However, there isn't any speed control on this team from what I can see, so run out of time here. Probably say Rillaboom. Yeah. Reason being is because Conkeldurr doesn't really do too much to the Kingdra, the Clefairy. Trying to think what else was on my team now. Then there was a Ghost Sableye. Does nothing to Sableye. Regardless of what the others were, it wasn't super effective damage, so it wasn't worth warranting. Right, so we've got Fake Out from the Weavile. Clefairy could be using Follow Me. What do you want to go for here? We're not in a bad position actually. If we go for Hyper Voice and a Iron Head into the... I feel like this thing's Sash, so I'm going to go for into that. It could go for Fake Out into the Sylveon, and then Clefairy could go for Follow Me here, which still gets us off some mileage. Helping Hand. What's it going for? Metal Claw? Oh, Triple Axle, okay. This is a move that increases in parry. I feel this is going to get the knockout, I feel. Oh, it only hit twice. Okay, that's great. Ice has really been done dirty in this meta, yet again. It's a nice tech, but yeah, it's just not very optimal. That did break our sash, so my opponent does get something off, you know, potentially without realising it, but at the end of the day, you've brought one of my Pokemon down to half. And I don't feel like Weavile is the main damage dealer on their team. I feel like they've got something else in the back that's ready to Dynamax. That's just obviously maybe even just there to break sashes, and maybe, you know, like things like Whimsicott that rely on their sashes majority of the time. Obviously you can break that sash and then well, not only break the sash, sorry, but you can actually just indefinitely just knock the thing out. Same with Dual Wing Beat, which is a great new move for checking Whimsicott, sorry, which is why we've not seen as much coverage from them. I feel like the Cinderace is going to get helping handed again by the Clefairy here. Well, what's it going to go for? Is it going to go for a Max Steel Spike, or is it going to go for a Max Flare or Max... So many options to consider with Cinderace. I can't stand it. Who have we got in the back that can help deal with Cinderace? Okay, not a great deal really. To protect? No. Just a waste of turn of the Dynamax. I feel like Iron Head into the Clefairy again isn't a bad call. I'm going to Dynamax Cinderace, it's expected. Cinderace is a very tough Pokemon to go up. Not if it's not enabled in the lead by a Whimsicott of, you know, or some kind of Tailwind support mid-turn, like now for example. The Weavile was literally just bait, it was just there to be knocked out. And for me to, you know, helping hand as expected. For me to knock it out and get a free switch into the Cinderace. So G-Max Fireball, this is going into the Excadrill. No, the Sylveon, okay. Wasn't expecting that. Cool animation though. Okay, and it's life orbed as they always are. Right, we pick up the KO on the Clefairy. So we're not in too bad a position considering. So what I really want to do here, I really wish Excadrill wasn't weak to fire, because I could switch in the Rillaboom and bait out a Max Flare into it, and then that would I could switch into Chandler and negate that then, but I could go for Max Airstream. Like I said, the coverage is just ridiculous on Cinderace, so we are actually left with only not very many options at all. Yeah, I feel like if we go for Rillaboom, just see what else they bring in. What's the last one? Because we do have Protect on Rillaboom and then Excadrill. Okay, you have to excuse the name there. Okay, so right, it's just a very, very tough position to be in, I think. I think that I don't really see us pulling this off, if I'm totally honest, because the Kingdra is just going to go for a Hydro Pump or a Scald or a Muddy Water or whatever into us and get the KO on the Excadrill. Suppose we could go for a Max Guard here to waste a turn of the Dynamax and then actually go for a Protect on the Excadrill. I feel like seeing these last two Rillaboom might actually come in a little bit more handy than I thought. I know I keep saying it, but Cinderace is just such a nightmare to deal with. I was glad to see a drop in usage of it. I really don't think it's going to be as viable in ranked anymore. When rank comes back online, as of July 1st. So, right, we double protect here. Hoping I've read this right. Max Airstream into. Okay, would have been. So, I've got a feeling that I'll pick up the one hit KO. Okay, so I read that right, apart from the fact that I said it was going to be Cinderace's G Max attack. We don't really get much off no matter what we go for here, apart from maybe Max Darkness, but I feel like Drum Solo onto the Kingdra and maybe just opt for a Rock Slide. Yeah, I feel like that's our best out. Obviously the damage output is just it's unreal coming from Cinderace. It really is. This should hit one hit KO. Yeah, we've definitely lost this one. This team doesn't have a great deal for Cinderace just because of its coverage from Steel moves, Poison moves, which aren't as viable because you're only really using them to hit Fairy types. And like KO's Excadrill. Yeah, that triple axel was actually like the play of the game really, as we'd still have our Sash there. So that being said, if we did have our Sash, we would have got off a Rock Slide there, and because the Cinderace went for a Fire attack, it was Fire type, the Rock Slide could have actually picked up a one hit KO there. Cinderace just has this sort of habit of hanging on with like 5 HP, 5% HP. Yeah, I think we're going to have to call that one there. So yeah, Cinderace is still pretty viable. Obviously my team doesn't have any DLC mons apart from if you want to call Rillaboom one of those. Yeah, like I said, it's a toss up between Whimsicott and the Rillaboom. The Rillaboom is much better for some level of fake outs, but it works much better against the Swords of Justice. However, Whimsicott in that position there would have actually probably won us the game, simply because we would have been able to get a Tailwind off, would have outsped Cinderace even with Excadrill. So that way would have been obviously moving first, and in Pokemon if you're moving first and you're picking up one hit KOs, the math's pretty much set. You know, you obviously are going to be winning then. But that's all I've got time for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this next episode of the Battle Series. Unfortunately, like I said, it is on casual at the moment. But as of July 1st, we'll be moving on to the rank ladder and just seeing what we go up against. I'll probably be opting for some more rental teams, which isn't something I've tried out yet. I might have tried one rental team or 2 rental teams since I started playing competitive. Reason being is I just enjoy team building, but it does take up a lot of like candies and things like that. And money as well, so it is nice sometimes to just have one handed to you. So yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for the most popular rental teams, maybe ones that you know, in the first couple of days are getting you know, into mass sport here. Even, you know, the ranked 1 teams, they're pretty easy to find on Twitter and things like that. And yeah, hopefully I can showcase some interesting stuff, some, you know, something that's a bit different, and give you guys some ideas too. But yeah, like I said, that's all we've got time for today, so I'll see you in the next one. Right, see you guys.